In today's video, I'm going to be using colored pencils and my sketchbook to practice all these different fun, quirky faces. I've been really into doodling and sketching portraits and faces before in a more realistic style, and I just don't really have time to sit down for 4 hours to sketch and work on a detailed portrait. So I've been wanting to explore some more contemporary, some more fun and quirky ways to still sketch faces or portraits of people in general, but in a more playful way that I can do in just a couple of seconds. So I'm using either a peach or a tan or a dark brown color base for the face, and it's just basically the shape of a thumb for the face and the neck. And then I'm using this dark blue color for the hair and trying to come up with a bunch of different ways to do the hair, whether it's straight hair or curly hair, or showing someone who is balding maybe, or has their hair up or in buns or braids. And then doing something really, really simple for the shirt, just maybe the collar or a couple stripes to show the sleeve. These colored pencils are just really basic. I think they're Prismacolor colored pencils, and the colors are just a dark Prussian blue color, like I said, peach, or a dark brown for the faces. And I'm using a marker for the eyes and the face, and then like a dark orangey reddish color for the cheeks. For the composition, or where I'm laying all these faces, I'm kind of just going with the flow. This is my sketchbook, and if you've been following any of my recent videos, then you know that I've been doodling a lot in my sketchbook again, mostly because all of our stuff is still in suitcases and in storage with our move. So I'm just kind of using whatever I have on hand, and that's usually a sketchbook and some random mixed media materials like colored pencils, oil pastel, or a cheaper watercolor set. So I've been wanting to play with more composition and more fun things. I feel like I'm always painting flowers, or like kind of gravitating toward painting the same things all the time, or doodling the same things all the time. So I'm trying to branch out and just enhance my skills in any way that I can. And so for layout, I'm just going face by face. I'm not planning ahead, but I am kind of doing a full spread on the left and gonna weave more faces onto the right side of the page too, and having the top left-hand corner being the highest point and the bottom right-hand corner will be the lowest point. So it kind of makes this tapered diamond shape. And then at the top, I have faces written 3 times in different lettering styles, some serif lettering styles, and then I quote from a Beatles song, which is, "There are places I remember, but I said there are faces I remember." And it's from the song "In My Life," which is a great Beatles song, which you should check it out. So with the dark blue pencil, I'm doing all of their hairs in the same color. It's just one less thing to think about, and doing these really quick sketchbook exercises that it's less about the detail or the details, and more about the ideas. So I'm just getting ideas down, and if I want to explore next time doing different hair colors or different shirt combos or whatever I want to switch up, then I can try that out next time. But for now, this is more so just getting the idea down and honing in on the style or the shape for the face, which is, like I said, it's that thumb shape. So I just did an oval on top of a column, and I made the column or the neck the same width as the face, just because most of the time the hair is going to be covering it up, and it just was this quirky little thumb shape portrait, and I just think it's really cute. So now I'm making my way over to the right page, and on this crease, I just kind of do my best on the spine area where there's that bump in the middle. But I still like to show that it's a full spread in my sketchbook. I think it looks really cute. So anyway, having a sketchbook is an essential practice, in my opinion, for any type of artist in any type of medium. It's where I find the most fun ideas for color combinations or for just stretching and expanding a style as much as possible without the judgment or self-criticism. If I feel like, for whatever reason, I have my paintbrushes, my good supplies, my good paper, and I'm working in a block of paper or even loose sheets, I feel like there's more pressure to make it look good or to make it look like exactly how I'm envisioning. But most of the time, the paintings that you see from famous artists or artists that you admire, most of the time they've worked on something, reworked that same idea over and over again, at least a handful of times, if not hundreds of times, in practice sheets, usually sketchbooks or just loose practice sheets. So that's one thing that is kind of detrimental to the modern artist, in my opinion, is that we don't really have that perspective, especially with the way we consume stuff like art and music or whatever. It's on demand. It's at the stage where the artist is finally happy with a completed painting or a finished piece. But you don't have that behind the scenes of like, this took me 300 tries, or I had to redo it this many times, or I have rough drafts in my sketchbook, and you're just following a tutorial or looking at something online and trying to have it be perfectly replicating what they get in your first try as you're following along with the tutorial or whatever it might be. So for sketchbook purposes or for any type of medium that you're working in or wanting to be working in, whether it's watercolor or acrylic or oil or color pencil, whatever, I highly recommend practicing in a sketchbook on a weekly basis, if not daily basis, if you can, even if it's only for 5 minutes and you just focus on one simple thing that you want to refine over and over again. Like for me, it's these faces on this sheet. And I just want to get more quirky. I want to get more weird with my art in general. I've been feeling like my art has felt like I've updated the versions of myself several times since I started painting and since I started, putting out work and pursuing this art business. But my art hasn't really transformed with me. And so I'm kind of trying to explore what that looks like. To have a more authentic voice in my art, in my own art, whether it's with the colors that I'm using or the level of quirkiness, like I said, which can be affected by colors and shapes and composition and all of the elements of style. So I am taking my own tips from my course, The Art Within, that I put out a few years ago. It has, I think it's about 9 hours worth of content, of videos, of tutorials that help you develop your own style. So I'm going back through that course on my own time and just kind of seeing how I can refine and twist and tweak my own style. It's not like I'm trying to make something completely different than what I have been doing or what I have been putting out, but I want to see, where it will go with me in this next stage. Now that we're 13 years into being a business owner an art business owner, having this art business, it feels like I've gone through many stages of growing up in my own personal life, like I said, but then also as a business owner, as an artist. And art is a tool of expression. It's a tool of alignment and sharing your voice. And there's these subtle ways that we can connect on a deeper level to our art through the personality or the style of voice, the tone of voice that comes out in our unique stamp of art or expression. And that's something that I love to talk about and talk about even more on my new Substack. I have a Substack, if you weren't aware. I've mentioned it a couple of times, but I've discovered I really enjoy writing. I'm not saying that I'm a good writer, but I'm saying I really enjoy writing. It's also in ways helping me become a better artist because I'm now looking at every little detail in every little moment of my days not every little one, but trying to as much as possible, and noticing the color of the shadows on the wall or the way a sound echoes in the distance or whatever, and just finding new ways to explain those things and to put words to them and descriptions so that I can improve my writing skills. And it's helping me notice and pay attention more, which is obviously going to improve my artistic abilities, like in painting. So I think they go hand in hand. If you aren't writing and journaling every day or as many times a week as you can, start. That's why I talk about autonomous, or what is it called? Automatic writing exercises or flow writing exercises in the Art Within. So try it out. Get yourself a sketchbook and a journal. Practice your writing, expanding your style, refining your style, doing quirky things like this. Check out the Art Within if you haven't already. I'll link to it in the description of this video, and comment below what your favorite face is, or if you did this yourself. I would love to hear from you, and I'll see you in next week's video.